All right, I'm going to call the meeting of the Essex Junction City Council to order for Wednesday, October 8th. Any agenda additions or changes?
None for me.
Council?
I have nothing. Marcus is
Okay.
shaking his head.
All right, so no need to approve the agenda. We're going to move to public to be heard. I'm assuming that I'm logging on right now, but is Marcus the only one online or is there other folks online?
We have some other folks.
Okay,
I don't see.
No one's
anybody.
raising their hand at the moment.
thank you. Okay, then we will move on to business item 5A, which is Chittenden Solid Waste District Representative. Update to the council with Mike Sullivan. Is Mike online?
He is.
Okay. Sorry, Mike, I didn't have my Zoomier up or whatever, so now I've got it up and I can see you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. How handsome am I tonight?
Super handsome.
Indeed. Hey, it's what I do.
On with Chittenden Solid Waste District.
Well, most of it's, business as usual, copacetic stuff. Probably the three big things that are mostly happening are we have the district has received in the process of selling some land down off of Burlington on Flint Ave, off of Flint Ave. And that's going forward. It looks like they're going to get about 700K for it. But they did have somebody make an offer of 800. And then that buyer said, well, we gotta delay it for a while. So basically they've gone back and they have in the process of accepting a offer from one of the local businesses nearby, 700K. Yeah, it was decided that the 100K wasn't the 700 in the hand versus 800 in the bush was not was the better situation. The other thing, next thing I thought about that you guys might be interested in is the Gardener Supply. Gardener Supply has gone bankrupt, as we know, and they are in debt to CSWD to the tune of about $75,000. But it looks like we will not see that, so we're just kind of biting the bullet, I guess. Though they still want to they still want to sell our product. They want us to deliver more product without paying for the stuff they've already taken and sold. So yeah, that does not seem to be but the big thing we've been wrestling with virtually all year has been the MRF, military, yeah. Too much politics. Um, Material recycle facility. We have come so close to it several times, as you know, back sometime last year. The I forget who exactly the organization was, but says that where we were going to build is now a wetland and we can't do that. So we've purchased some land from Heinsberg Sand and Gravel, which actually in some ways is a better location for us. And moving forward, and there's been some challenges, but probably the biggest one right now is the latest one, which is the Williston Development Review Board rejected the last signature we need, rejected the design because of wildlife paths. That has been addressed. There's been a redesign. Actually, they've turned the building 90 degrees, which was an interesting, and that actually, as presented, brought in in some ways the design has been improved for that. But we still don't have an answer from Williston. There is the Williston DRB meets next October 14th in a week or so. So yeah, Other than that, it's usually just bill, just general things of um, maintenance or voting for maintenance of trucks and such as that and the budgets and such. So yeah. Marcus.
Has there been any changes in the last year in regards to the Essex drop off, which is probably or even Williston? I'll ask because those two are probably the probably most used, I assume, from Essex Junction residents. Has there been any updates, any changes, anything that the public should know about in regard to those drop off centers?
Well, the prices have increased for stuff. And the big one was the prices that were going to go up. I saw a $5 increase in my my trash hauler for a month. So they've gone up $5 a month. Other than that, I don't have anything specific to Essex or Williston.
But that price too is that price that the hauler is adjusted for, because my hauler did the same, but and again, I want to make sure that we're speaking about this clearly for the public. That's because of the tip fee at Coventry. It's not because it's not because of anything at the drop-off center specifically. It has to do only with the tip fee up at Coventry.
I believe that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the other thing that reminded me is Coventry and whatever, and there's a big thing going on about, or there was the big thing going on about shingles, roof shingles, and those have become a problematic thing for us. That in fact, right now I believe we are not accepting any roof shingles, or if we do, there's a separate charge, there's an extra charge. Most of that has to do with the Coventry costs.
Mike, do you have any questions for us?
Can you teach me how to puppy train a dog in a week? We have
Amber, that's for sure.
No, definitely not me.
Oh, you're a trainer, Amber. You're a trainer. Come.
Brian,
Mike, if you want to talk to a CSWD representative who might be able to assist you, call Elise. She might be able to.
Okay. All right.
had a question.
Yeah, and Marcus's question triggered a question to me because the second most frequent dumping location that I use is actually one of the FWSD's drop-off spots in Franklin County because they take leaf waste 24/7. I'm sure there's a good reason why we don't do that in Chittenden County, but do you know what that is? Can you maybe find out for me?
Yeah,
that would be super convenient.
I can check into it, probably because I'm going to guess just off the top of my head is because where the leaf drop off is in Williston anyway, because that's what I use. It's the leaf drop off in Williston is has equipment, pretty expensive equipment for the processing of the organics. And those are they probably just want to keep them secure. I would guess that
The answer is that if they're accepting stuff,
sure,
they will get trash too.
I will check into that, Brian. No problem.
Good question.
Sure.
I appreciate the update on the land purchase, swap, wildlife habitat.
Yeah. Thanks for the update. We appreciate it. Appreciate you sitting on the committee. I'm kind of keeping an eye on it as stuff comes through as well. So, because I get all of the copies as well. So,
Well, join us some night.
yeah. I'll try.
Get pizza. You can get if you come to the meeting, you can get some pizza.
Okay. I'll look forward to
right.
the DRB meeting next week, so I'll tune into that.
Okay, sounds good.
Mike,
Thank you, Mike.
appreciate it.
Welcome, guys. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Mike.
You too.
All right. Gotta get back to my agenda here. Next up, we've got Development Review Board update to the council. Mr. Alden, come to the microphone. Please join us. Yeah, you can have a chair. We won't make you stand.
I can use a pointer and all kinds of stuff, but.
That's phase two.
Well, it's great to be here with you guys back at 2 Lincoln Hall. I guess we have a slideshow. I'm going to take about 5 minutes or maybe a little more on the slideshow, and then we'll have questions.
Sure.
It's been actually a frantic year in some ways, but unproductive in others. So just by the numbers, we'll go through what we've been doing and why I say that. I had staff Michael put together this similar slideshow similar to last year, and I was thinking about maybe even having so the dots covered the 2-year period, but I'm not sure that really happened. They're not called out that way, so I can't really tell. But the dots represent the projects that we've been working on and their location in the city. And so most of them are strung out along, from Five Corners sort of back towards Susan Wilson Road, which is reasonable because there has been a lot of turnover in those properties, fortunately, the push for housing still is pretty strong, so you're seeing a lot of redevelopment of parcels or adding of units into existing structures, which is all great. It's encouraged infill, and increasing the density is something that is pushed pretty strongly in the regional and local development codes. It's right where it wants to be on or very near the transit routes. So we're pretty excited about that, and we also we did have a few, can we do this kind of thing, or are these are special arrangements like CVE and the high school both had some ongoing projects. So we'll cover those, but if we want to jump to the next one, we'll do the numbers. You can just read them, but what really sticks out to me was a fairly modest year in terms of activity. I think some of them were kind of, the frantic part of it was there were some questions asked of us, mostly in in our role as adjudicators of administrative decisions that were sticky, right? But the rest of it, new units of housing, 12 is really low. Mm-hmm. Like we should be in hundreds, right? So sorry to say, we've had some really nice big projects come through over the last couple of years. They're under construction now, so the units are actually coming online or visible to the community as underway. But this year we didn't see that same effort. It feels like we approved more, but again, I could be, thinking of late last year or something, and we just haven't seen the actual construction happen yet. It has been a tricky year for construction. The industry is still pretty hot. It's hard to find the labor. It's hard to find people with time in their schedule to get the work done. So they may have been delaying some of that. But bottom line is our housing approvals are anemic in the vast scheme of what Chittenden County is attempting to build in order to satisfy the demand. So we don't really see a lot of public push on the housing. It's more, you got developers and they have to kind of do it and put the I would say that we're still seen as a friendly environment. We support the development, especially when it fits into our master plan and into our land development code planning. We're still pretty comfortable with seeing those developments come through and trying to work with people so that they can do them. So what a lot of the smaller projects were, I got a house I want to put on a wing or make a duplex, a triplex, or something like that, but it doesn't add a lot of units. You know, it's all good, but it doesn't add the unit count. Educational Drive, this was just an interesting stormwater improvement project that we got asked to take a look at work that they've done there. Apparently a lot of it was sort of regulation driven, so wasn't really much for us to do except say thank you for improving the water quality. West Street was one of these units that came in and we were able to do a triplex. I don't know that I saw I don't know if that's the actual building. It could
It is.
be.
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't been past it.
We drive by it regularly.
Yep. Looks good.
Yeah, some of these were pretty tight on their sites, but they were able to show that they worked, and, you know, most of the time we'll ask a lot of questions and try and angle them toward the best version of this that we can. If anybody has comments about, I mean, I'm always looking at construction projects after they're finished and saying, you know, did that turn out the way we hoped it would? So if any council members have comments or concerns at any point in those kinds of things, want to give us some guidance, that's always helpful. Park Street, Center for Technology. Are we on the same?
I might have gone too far.
Are we
No.
not in the same? Maybe mine fell on the floor and got put back.
Well, where do you go,
Order.
John, and we'll follow along.
All right, hold on now. All right, so Center for Technology, Essex, they have a program with the BOCES that'll build houses, or whatever they call BOCES. So they've been doing this for years. They have a number of parcels up there. They come through every couple of years and get a couple more plots approved, and it usually takes them a year or two to build a house, and they sell it and keep going. So they'd reached the end of their available buildable lots, and they had come through with a proposal to extend their roads up there and create a few more parcels. And that was fine. We understand that there were some difficulties in actually making that happen, so they just came back to us. And there's a wetland, which I'm struggling to comprehend, because in my mind, I used to bicycle through there regularly, and the whole thing is up on a plateau. So I was, you know, like, somebody that knows more about wetlands than I do must have seen a plant. But anyway, so they're reworking there. They'll come back and fix that, but they were able to get their next lot at least conditionally approved, so they can keep going.
John Bryan has a question for you.
Sure.
Hey, John. Thanks for your work on the DRB and making this presentation. I really love this project because A, we need more housing, and B, it's built by the tech center, right?
Yeah.
So kids are learning at the same time. That said, this is my neighborhood, and I am curious how this works. Who builds the road here, us or the developer?
That's a great question. I know it's designed by a professional engineer who's one of the people that we work with all the time. I don't know who builds it. Do you know who builds it?
That's a good question. I don't know that answer for sure, and I will find out, but I would gather we do not build the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
And
I did building trades in high school. This is how long this project has been going on. So
Yes.
like,
time,
I was building at the top of your road, and they build the house over 2 years, and they sell it. The road is put in, at least it was by them, in private for the first period of time until the village accepted it.
Okay.
So,
I guess the reason I mention this is I don't know who to mention it to, because I don't know who's responsible for what. But my sort of concern when looking at this is Drury is already a cut through, and if we extend it all the way to Taft, where there's no light, this is going to make it worse. And I was thinking that that a roundabout would be really nice here, but I don't know who can force them to do that. whether that's us or that's up to us, or we can tell the developer, or it's too late.
This project was already approved.
Well, there might be some time to intervene, and it's not ever done till it's built, right?
Okay.
And I think that their issue with the wetlands was either the driveways or the road itself as it ties into the circle that's there now, which is the sort of the cul-de-sac part. So, and they did mention, and we asked a lot of questions about the cut-through aspect of what happens when that road goes in. So there may be an opportunity, and I think we'll go back to the applicant, which I think is the high school, right? Or the
Tech center,
Tech
yeah.
center.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would still be willing to make adjustments if they can. And I don't know that the road has to change much, but certainly the treatment at one or both of the ends.
Yeah.
That's been a fairly common issue over my years on the
Yep.
review board or planning commission. Neighborhoods that are sensitive to the amount of traffic that come through them because they could be cut through. There've been all kinds of things suggested, including chains and breakaways for the fire department and so forth. But it's probably helpful that it does connect. But if that gets to be an issue or it's being abused, certainly that has an impact on your quality of life up there. So,
Fair enough. Thank you for walking me through the process.
sure.
Marcus has a question online.
Yes, Marcus.
Hey, thanks again for coming out. So two things. First off, I think this feels like my annual question, like what in the experience over, especially this last year, but maybe over the last two, is there anything within our LDC that you feel like right now is coming up repeatedly because it's a common hindrance or it's a common thing that maybe we need to look at and improve upon. The other is, since we're talking about particular projects, I just wanted to get your thoughts around the one on West Street. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just curious about the thoughts around it because, as you look at that row of houses and the church and everything along West Street, everything is set back a lot farther than those three townhouses right there. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's just a matter of, I was curious whether or not that was something that was considered. Maybe it's because the parking in the back is kind of pushing it forward. But as you look down that row, it just seems like it stands out because it's so close to the sidewalk.
I'm gonna say that is the case. They had the row of trees along one side. You had very little room to maneuver, and they did put all the parking in the back, which when you end up with a row house type format like this, I do tend to, you're either gonna get a garage right in front of you and then all the cars are parked there, or you're gonna put all of that behind the building. And I think it was actually considered to be a better appearance if we didn't really see all the cars. And that is one of my own pet peeves with some of these sort of multi-family or multi-apartment buildings, is that if you're not careful, the whole front yard ends up with car. They don't care where they park. They're on the grass. They're on, it just gets out of hand. And we were pretty careful with both projects that are on West Street to really try and manage the what the outcome of all the parking is. So it's not actually a bad thing if it's closer to the street for the pedestrian walkable type thing. Hopefully there's some landscaping that goes in here and was on the plan and will show up, because the image that we're looking at is pretty stark. But I guess for the most part, we don't really like to see the front yards just be parking lots.
Yeah. So, to go back to my first question, but also to take it one extra little step, thinking about again that first slide, right? And you're absolutely right. I mean, when I first saw it, without seeing the asterisk first, I was like, this is crazy to see this number so low. And I'm not quite sure how many have been have been approved through the department itself versus having to come before you. But do you believe, and I know this is a bigger question than what has come before you, but I'm kind of curious, because I would say from my own point of view, I'm also feeling like while the state has opened up some rules, while we have adjusted to open up some rules, I'm not feeling or seeing that happening in our neighborhoods either. People aren't taking advantage of it to add ADUs or turn their homes into duplexes, whatever. And if we're really trying to build up housing stock, I'm wondering if you have any thoughts around what's holding us back. If it's just economy, if it's just boredom, I don't know.
Going to circle back to that question. I have a number of things on my own personal list of I'd like to see change a little bit, but most of them are, for me, it's giving the city more control over what gets built, not making it easier to build it. And I say that only because while we're all in favor of having things get built, we also want them to be as high quality as we can reasonably ask for. And I don't mean to drive the cost of these up, but people need to build things that, you know, are really well integrated or improve the city and the city life. And that can be a whole range of things, but that dialogue between what the land development code says and what the designers and developers will do is very important to nurture, and we've been working on that for, you know, decades, trying to improve how do we tell them what we want and make sure we get it, right? Because the best part about development that makes it easy for people is you spell it out clearly and then you hold the line, right? As long as they know what that is, they're okay. It's the risk of failing or not knowing what somebody wants, or the subjective, you know, I like this, I don't like this, that really gets in the way of people wanting to invest. So the other side of that coin is, just because you make it possible for somebody to add an ADU in their front yard or their side yard or their garage or their basement, or that doesn't mean they want to. You know, like, the rules have been relaxed at the state level. We've been sometimes, I mean, generally we're supportive of that, but when it shows up in your neighborhood and you've got to figure out what that means, again, you want a well-done design, but it doesn't mean that I'm not taking my house and you know, turning it into a duplex or something. And that's my own personal decision. That doesn't mean it couldn't be, but it just means that I'm choosing not to. So incentivizing that is trickier because you're now trying to modify people's behavior and desire. And oftentimes it would be done for like, let's say one of the things that happens in some neighborhoods is people start buying houses that don't live there, and then they will chop them up and turn them into, you know, more denser developments, and that also has a different impact, because will bring, you know, 5 or 6 cars where there used to be 2, and so it's a double-edged sword for me. I appreciate that the state is interested in generating more housing and making it possible to do so. And then I'm still happy that some communities that have a robust code and a robust desire to manage life in their community are also able to do so with, even with some, leniency in the rules coming from the state. So I think Essex Junction has got a very good code. I think it's been well-researched and well put together over the years. We tinker with it all the time. The planning commission is always thinking of things that they would like to do to modify it. We talk on a regular basis, and I know what bothers me when I get an application that I don't really like. It's usually like I don't have any way to say no. Like, I mean, there's some way that the application comes in and is allowed to go through because we don't have the teeth to say no. And not teeth, desire teeth, I mean, in the actual land development code, it's allowed. And oftentimes that comes down to design review or something like that. I think we made huge strides last year when they approved, approved changes in the LDC to increase the areas of design control to include the major arteries in the city. You know, it just makes sense. You can't have control over what your city looks like if you don't ask for it. So I was really pleased to see that happen. It was a long time coming. You don't always get to do that, but I think we're in very good shape now. But, you know, you go over to West Street, I can't do that. I don't have the ability. I was sort of stunned when a set of plans came in literally on the back of a piece of paper that somebody had hand sketched, and I had no way to make nobody could tell what was happening. It wasn't the scale. It was, and we kept trying to have staff say, you got to have a higher standard here, and they say it's not really in the LDC. I can't do it. So
Just to clarify, this is a recent story, or?
yeah, it's a recent story. It's not on the list yet. It's on my list because I'm still hot under the collar about it, but not just because I can do the drawings, but there's no, if I don't, and I can read almost anything, and I'll read a crayon drawing, but everyone else, I mean, the point is, if I come to the DRB and I say, I want you to approve this project, we have a reasonable expectation to know what that is. Yep. What does it look like? What's it really, how does it fit in everywhere? Does it meet all the criteria? And we need at least some bottom level of drawing submission before that is, single family home, where's the front door, guys? Is it on the side, the back? Where is it? So we got a little bit better version the second time around than I ended up going through, so that's okay. But it did point out, I'm all stunned when I realize that I don't have the ability to ask for something that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I appreciate that insight, John, because if I can get something designed on the back of a napkin and give it to you and it goes through, it's it seems to.
We have the architects have a design competition with a napkin. Like, you get a little cocktail napkin and you can submit it annually. It's a yearly event. Who does the best sketch?
Colin Lindbergh.
So it's not a dumb idea. It's just that, you need to be really good to make that work. And so I'm not trying to say that, we need the best of anything, but it does help if, it meets the normal criteria for a regular drawing, and I'd love to see that really get put in there.
It sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
But all right, do you want to do a couple more slides, or you got more questions? I don't want to take up all your time.
Go ahead.
I just want to put a plug in there because the Connect the Junction survey has been extended to the 20th, and I speak with a lot of developers all the time. I always have in some of the conversations. There is a building height conversation that is going to be coming somewhere, and it's tied into that survey. And I know that there is a lot of folks that are just sitting and waiting to see what the outcome of that conversation is before they decide what they're going to be doing.
And that's a great conversation because every city from Paris to Essex Junction has had that conversation. you know, there are height limits that do certain things to a city as it's developing to restrict, let's say, you know, Manhattan from happening in
Yeah.
your backyard. And
Well-
so it's not a dumb conversation, but at one time we had a 6-story height limit here. And we designed a few things, our office did, right in the area that's, you know, kind of in all the railroad tracks there, was 6 stories. And, you know, we remember when, you know, the building on the corner here got designed and ended up a little taller than some people thought was acceptable. And so you dropped it to 4 stories, at least where you can see it and it matters, so.
Predecessors.
I was gonna say,
I was on the other side of the
it was
table
like,
during that conversation.
I think that was them and not us, but
You,
Yeah.
Collectively, the
Yeah.
counselor, the
Yeah, yeah.
trustees at the
Well,
time,
and
overrode yeah. So
Yes.
anyway, it's a great conversation because that limit is meaningful and,
at our last discussion at Connect the Junction, when we were at the police station, because this was under renovations, there were some folks that came in and said, hey, we have interest in doing stuff in your downtown, but at 4 stories, it doesn't make sense to us. So I'm sure that there's going to be this whole other thing. So anyway, the point of that was the Connect the Junction survey has been extended to October 20th. And part of that conversation is building height. As Regina likes to say, once we've had that conversation and it's settled, it's too late. So take the survey now.
Awesome.
Get involved
Excellent
now.
plug.
I'll put that plug in there.
Thanks for the plug.
all right.
All right, we'll let you finish up your slides.
Okay.
Not sure, well, there's a good one, so let's go to 197 Pearl Street.
Okay.
That one's
We're
gonna
gonna skip.
bring
Oh, I
us
like
up.
skipping slides.
Yeah.
Well, we determined that John
You're
dropped
not
it on
really,
the floor.
right. So these other ones were 1 unit added or something. All right, so here's a story, here's the building that got approved at 4 stories. I just want to be clear, the approval was for 4 stories. And at some point, somebody whispered in somebody's ear and it ended up with a 5-story corner that was deemed unusable because it was not compliant. Since then, the state has said, okay, if you have it for certain types of people, we'll give you another story to try and increase density. So this is now it meets the state rules for what's allowable, even though the city rules don't allow it. The state said, yeah, but you have to. So they came to us and said, well, now that it's legal, can we use it? And we said, sure. You know, not that we had much to say about it, but that's the general idea. I understand that they may not have opened it yet, but it would be a legal 5th story in a village city that only allows 4. And that's because of a state overlay on the density. And, you know, I don't mind the 5th story. It's the same idea that happened here on the corner with the taller, you know, centerpiece to, you know, 2 shorter wings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a building type that's very normal and typical. To, you know, give something a little more strength and weight at a corner. So I think it's fine. If people want to object to that, they're more than welcome to. The buck stops here. The planning commission will probably make some recommendations, but the city council will have the final say. So that's my take on stories. And it does matter where you are. So there are places in the former Necky over there, the neighborhood, where there are 4 stories visible on the street and 5 stories in the back because the land slopes away. You can't tell. You can't tell. So is that bad? No, we decided that was good at the time. Expo, or so the Champlain Valley and the fire department got together to allow for a testing facility, a burn site out in the back in a gravel pit. It's a great opportunity for for our firefighters to have a local, training area that is temporary and isolated, and nobody's disadvantaged as far as we know. But it was nice to see the two of them come together and make that happen. This is the building in question that had the plans that weren't quite up to snuff. They were proposing to tear this down and rebuild a denser building. So in theory, the project itself is great. It's essentially an infill update, modernization. What we noted was the front door isn't facing Maple Street, even though the building's on Maple Street.
It's facing Kings,
And
facing
so,
Kings Court.
yeah, so I guess you can pick, if you're on a corner, you might decide you're gonna face Kings Court or Maple Street. But we made a case that its presence on Maple Street was significant enough for it to participate in the life of Maple Street. And they moved the front door to the Maple Street side and rearranged things, and hopefully it's gonna end up looking pretty good. It was a bit hard to tell from the drawing. So, I'll just say in the future, I would probably, I'm gonna just push for us to make sure we can actually get images or renderings or something that says this is what it's gonna look like before we let it show up on one of our major routes. Tractor Supply, it's not a big thing. It's a change of tenant in an existing strip mall. So great, right? Our biggest concern there was some added features and functionality that relied on the back parking area for some of its outdoor use, and that place is a shambles in a way because there's really no rules back there. So we just asked them to clean up the, as they and the landlord try and make improvements to that area, so the functionalities they were looking for, which included, I think maybe a propane filling station or something, that they try to help all of us figure out what the traffic pattern really is back there. So that was it. Otherwise, off you go. It's a good addition to our community as a tenant.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Any last questions? I can't see Marcus. No. Well, always good to see you.
Said it last year, I'll say it again. Thank you for all of your guidance on all of this stuff. You're a wealth of knowledge.
Happy to help.
Your
I've been here
continued support is much appreciated.
30 years, so I'm still young, but
Yeah.
it's a great place to live and work and participate. So,
And build housing, hopefully.
and build housing. And
I'll just add that I did open up last year's presentation, and it was 167 new housing units approved. So it's just I think with the majority of our housing units being done in larger multi-unit projects, we don't have a ton of them, but when they come in on those years, you're going to see a much higher number than when they don't come through.
And there are a handful that are approved that have not been started, so you will see additional units. I don't know if we have that number, like how many units have been approved that are waiting in the wings to get actually constructed. But there's more along, as you get down towards Susie Wilson Road, you notice that there's a lot of empty lots there. Those will have large scale unit, multifamily units on them, and then there's a couple other infills waiting to show up around town.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We'll
Thanks,
see
John.
you on Saturday.
Appreciate you. Yes,
That's right.
be there, be square.
Exactly. All right. So the last items on our agenda is an executive session. So I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes. Council member comments, and city manager report. Regina, take it away.
Already been mentioned, last Meet Me on Main is coming up this Saturday, the 11th. Those have been great. If you have not been able to come out, please do. The events are going from 4 to 7, and then the movie at 7 o'clock, which is Ghostbusters, which is very exciting. Thank you, Tim, for already plugging Connect the Junction. That the survey for that has been extended. So please take that if you have not. Also, there will be, I think, at least 2 planning commission members at Meet Me on Main on Saturday, again, out getting feedback on Connect the Junction and having conversations out on the street. So you can do both those things at one time. There are a number of things in the reading file just for folks to be aware of. There is a reappraisal update in there. There's understanding your property tax bill. Couple of different things just of interest in there, just for folks' awareness.
Thank you. Any council member? Go ahead. Brian.
If the governance committee wanted to present something, could we steal space at the tent at Meet Me on Main on Saturday?
If you can convince Brad to get you some space, then you'll be all good.
Oh.
Okay.
Get him some candy or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Marcus.
I'm guessing
Well,
that they can.
I think I would have to ask Brad anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
As business staff.
Yeah.
liaison to
Yes. But that's a good idea.
okay.
Marcus.
Thanks. I just want to add on to the Meet Me on Main event. Look, I'll speak for myself, but all the counselors have shown up, just about every week, and they have been walking around and mixing and mingling with residents. I highly encourage residents to also feel free to come up to us. We're there in order to interact with you, have conversations, answer questions. Look for the guy with the orange glasses. I'm happy to talk to you about whatever and get your feedback on whatever topic is hot on your mind. So please feel free to, say hi at Meet Me on Main. Looking forward to seeing everybody there this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what Marcus is saying, the feedback that I've gotten at Meet Me on Main is kind of universally positive and grateful to, and I usually just defer that gratitude to Brad and staff. So, because I really didn't do anything. So, thank you to Brad and his team and everyone on the staff that made that happen.
I don't have anything this evening.
Okay. Who's got the motion?
I do.
Go.
I move that the city council makes the specific finding that premature disclosure of contractual matters would place the city at a substantial disadvantage. I move that the city council enter into executive session to discuss contract pursuant to 1 VSA 313A1A to include the city council and city manager.
You need a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right.
All right, that motion passes. So we are going to go into executive session, and we are not coming out with any business
We have
items.
another motion that we have to.
Oh, never mind. I got excited.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I move that the city
Sorry.
council make the specific finding that premature disclosure of a confidential attorney-client communication regarding improbable litigation would place the city at a substantial disadvantage. I move that the city council enter into executive session to discuss confidential attorney-client communications regarding probable litigation pursuant to 1 VSA 313A1E and 1 VSA 313A1F to include the city council and city manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries.
There's one more.
One more.
Jeez.
I move that the city council enter into executive session to discuss personnel evaluation pursuant to 1 VSA 313A3 to include city council and city manager.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Scrolled a little further.
That
there's
one-
no more.
Are you sure? Okay. Now, we're going into executive session and we are not coming back out with any business items.
We have to come back to approve if we
Do we-
desire.
Yes.
Apparently I am standing corrected. Okay.
All right.
Maybe we'll be back.
Leave it at that.
I'm leaving it at maybe. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the contract for assessing services with the town of Essex.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. And
I would move to adjourn.
I will second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
job.
good night.
Night, everybody.
Bye.
Night, Marcus.